Well, now that we have done our planning, I guess we can. I guess we can actually start the show and say hello, everybody. Well, man, why do I keep it?
Failure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Cup of Genre here on the Genreverse YouTube channel, and wherever you get your podcast from, Genreverse Podcast Network, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all those fun little apps. Give us a follow on there. Leave an interaction, thumbs up, down, star reviews, something like that. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please do hit that hit that subscribe button, and leave again interactions, comments, thumbs up or down. Let us know what you think about the topics we are talking about. Who's we? I am Kyle. That guy is Manny. And check out lrmonline.com every day for all written news, needs, opinions, celebrity interviews, and more. Manny, you and I were brainstorming because, man, you kind of do have to scrape the bottom of the barrel sometimes these days because, well, see our show yesterday for why news is getting light.
A little bit,
but we do have some movies coming out this weekend, including The Flash, a huge deal for Warner Brothers, and whether or not he likes it, whether or not, no matter how they go forward, this movie will be used as a statement against James Gunn, one way or the other, rightly so or not.
Nah.
It's good. No, there's going to be people out there online. There's going to be those Snyder stands and things like that are going to make this a statement on him. No, I'm not saying like the industry. I'm groups. Yeah. So the Flash is coming out there, and man, we've heard official budgets pushing 200. We've heard unofficial budgets pushing 330. This movie's gonna have to make a lot of money to do well, Manny, and I'm not 100% sure it's really gonna do that. What do you think?
I'm honestly, I'm not concerned because I don't care because it's part of the old regime. Right. But I have heard a couple of spots on the internet. I think The Wrap was one of them, or Heroic Hollywood, which is literally the same thing. That if this movie does well, but I mean, it would have to do exceedingly well. They already have a second film planned out. If it does well enough as the Batman, the Matt Reeves film, which I do not think it gets to that point. And by the way, do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, Michael Keaton, Batman?
So, watch out for lightning, folks. Oh God, I didn't even mean to make a flashlight. Anyways,
we get nuts. We get nuts. So it's just like it's just a weird weekend. It's a weird couple of weeks because there's too many movies. Number one, and I think that with indie coming up also, I'm not sure exactly where the planning was to put this here. Although I don't mind it. I'm very we'll get to that in a second, but I'm very worried about Elemental because I don't know if there's a place for it. It's this movie should have been out months later or in February. Either months later or in February. Because it's too close to too many other really good animated films. It kind of needs its own space to breathe. But as for The Flash, I'm like, I know that the audience scores have been 95%. Well, and I know that a lot of people are going for Michael Keaton, which is kind of what my driving force too. Such that guy is a close second because seeing that version of Supergirl is going to be cool. I'm 75 maybe. I think.
Okay. While I was trying to look up, the Manny had said, the audience score being 95%, the critic score being 190. The predictions from Box Office Pro is a domestic of 60 to 80. So your 75 fits right in there. And Deadline, of course, is reporting 70 to 75 tracking. So they're predicting about a 155 to 165 worldwide opening. I had been one of those, I think, earliest, months ago. I was like, man, I don't know. It could be a surprise. It could push 110, 120, I think I said. And then I've slowly been watching it and seeing the kind of like freak out over it. But then again, looking at the positive reaction from the audience, I'm not so sure. 70, 75. I'm gonna say 85 million opening weekend is my guess domestic. I think it's got a lot of stuff working against it. Like you said, you've got Elementals coming out as well, and while it's not necessarily the best place for it, it's tracking, according to Box Office Pro, 31 to 41. So I mean, it is going to take some money away from the Flash. You mentioned the Blackening, which is 7 to 12 million opening predicted. But then you have to look at what's still in theaters. You still have Across the Spider-Verse. You still have Transformers: Rise of the Beast. You still even have Guardians of the Galaxy, which, yeah, sure, it's not knocking it out of the park anymore, but there's just things that other people might say or feel are less problematic. And no matter how you feel about Miller, their accuser saying, "Oh, I've not been," or not their accuser, their alleged victim, if you will, during that whole situation. Just because someone says they're not a victim doesn't mean they're not a victim. See beaten woman's syndrome cases through, yesterday. It happens. People convince themselves I'm not saying that's what happened. Everything's allegedly, but it doesn't matter. There's problems with Miller. There's issues people are going to have seeing the film, whether they are valid or not to you, whatever. I'm still thinking this positive vibe, the Keaton effect. I'm gonna go with 85. Yeah.
I'd like to think it's 85. That's kind of my first guess. Like, my thought was like, yes, it go up to 90, and I was like, nah. There's this, especially being Father's Day weekend, also that could help. But I just think there's a lot going on, and I just don't know if that fatigue is setting in a bit. And I'm just talking about in general for theaters. Like, you not that people don't want to go, that you need a little breathing room between the next blockbuster and the next blockbuster, the next blockbuster.
Be nice,
especially because we have indie coming up. So I think that's my reservation. But I think I'm predicting Flash 1, Transformers 2, and Elemental, Spider-Man. Yeah, that's my and the thing is that, like, I keep wanting to push Elemental a little bit lower, but I've gotten good feedback from people saying that this looks a lot more kind of like the bread and butter of a Pixar film that they're used to. So it has been a little bit attractive.
Yeah.
So
Transformers had a 61 million opening weekend. You really think it's gonna hit less than a 50% drop?
Nah, you're right.
Because it's gonna come in, if it's gonna, I think Elemental's gonna come in number 2. I do. I don't think it makes less than 30 million opening, but hey, Disney, man, their animated stuff recently has just not been doing it for people. I know
but
it's Pixar, but it's
the thing
Disney
is that this is
Pixar.
a good movie.
I know you said that it looked funny, man.
I just don't
Christine
think
and I want to see it. Yeah.
I just don't think the timing is right to put it out.
Mm.
Like you don't put it against the Flash. If anything, maybe this should have been like a late August release, like the 2 or 3 weeks before schools start coming back
end of summer movie.
Yeah. Just or this honestly should have been their Thanksgiving release.
Yeah.
It's just marketing's terrible sometimes. Like the Blackening, for example, great job marketing, because I know that it ties in with Juneteenth, and it's something that the characters in the film are celebrating. So I think that while this weekend it may not do very well, maybe over the next week, as I think Juneteenth's on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I just for fairness, I get holidays mixed up all the time. I got yelled at by a veteran one time when they said Happy Memorial Day on Veterans Day. Whatever. I don't usually do holidays very much in general. Anyway, so I think that's actually going to do fairly well. That had a micro budget anyway, so I think that is going to do fine. But I don't know. My thing is the Transformers has gotten a whole lot of good word of mouth, and I don't think that in the first week enough people saw it, because I know that there's this fatigue of what Michael Bay did to the franchise, and not kind of knowing that this is definitely a different spin and a different. I mean, it's the same characters, of course, but it's a little bit different. You still get the robots smashing each other, but it's not Michael Bay, and that's important, because Michael Bay movies, you can cut about 40% of them and you still get the same movie. Just watch Ambulance and find out what I'm talking about. So I think that's why I want to put it up high, and I think that because of Disney's track record recently, it makes me sad I'm bracing myself for Elemental to not do very well. But I don't know. It's interesting because it's a kids movie, but it's also kind of a rom-com. So, and I don't see enough people talking about it that way. That can really spark the interest more in like couples and things. If you want to go watch a movie this weekend. So, yeah, maybe right. Flash, Elemental, Transformers, Spider-Man. And there's a fifth one in there somewhere.
All good. You
know which one fell out of the top 5 last week was already Fast X. That thing.
Oh yeah.
That thing, took off fairly quickly from the box offices. But here we are. The international markets are the ones keeping it afloat.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's sitting at what is it sitting at today? 679 worldwide. Of course, the overwhelming majority of that, over 140 million of it, coming from China alone.
Yeah, China's ruining our cinema. Oh, it is. Like why are we doing another Venom? Because of China. Why are we doing another?
Well, hold on. That second Venom movie, the domestic market is equal to blame. That, and of course the home video sales, because that was a thing back in 2018 when the first one came out. Dude, China was the fault for the first one. Absolutely. And Americans going, hey, it's not that bad, or domestic, because include Mexico and Canada. The domestic market, or no, I think it's just Canada and US. I don't think the North American market includes Mexico in box office for some reason. I might be mistaken. Nope, Mexico gets its own. It's right there on the front. So yeah, it's only the North American market is Canada and the US. Anyways, domestically, Venom wasn't much, except for people going, oh, it's okay, it's good, I'd watch another one, generating just enough buzz in the domestic side that they weren't totally afraid of it despite the money from overseas, but that money overseas is what sealed the deal. You know what I'm saying? Like they were just like, oh yeah. And tell you what, don't even worry with any actual Spider-Man stuff. Let's just go into even more insanity and bring carnage into it and kill them off super fast too. You know, just like, oh God, why'd you get me started on Sony? Why?
Manny? Well, it was your fault. I'm just trying to talk movie numbers, but you're the one who's bringing this up. I guess another really quick topic I do want to bring up, sure, especially watching Transformers, is I'm gonna get on my soapbox a little bit and gloat because I can, and it's really the we've seen more of it now, but in the last few weeks, I think it's kind of came to like a very, very happy realization of just the Latino leads, man. We've had quite a few. Miles Morales, you know, doing what he did at the box office, and the way he showcased in Across the Spider-Verse and the Puerto Rican culture. We have Sasha Calle this weekend with as one of the leads in The Flash. Transformers: Rise of the Beast. It really took again that Caribbean feel from Brooklyn. It's nice. Flaming Hot Cheetos, or just Flaming Hot, did got really well reviews, regardless of how you feel about the story, if it's true or not. Oh yeah, it was a good movie, and again, it was all Latino. It really told a really good story. At least there's that it's a good story. Yeah, that showcases Latino culture on the West Coast. Little Mermaid was a Caribbean story. Really, that it got kind of changed up just a bit to kind of fit that Pirates of the Caribbean that Disney so wishes they can revive, but they always jump the gun to fire people. So then it bites them in the butt, and now they don't have James Gunn because of it, and now they don't have Johnny Depp. They're offering him all kinds of money, including building a statue at Disneyland, which I don't think that's true, but it's just funny to think that they'd probably do it to try to get him back, and he said he would never do it, never. Then again, I think that there's enough money out there that I never could turn into a maybe. Yeah. But yeah, just very happy to see our folks out there doing big things on the big screen. Hey, more power to them. Hopefully it leads to some eventual actual Latino, indigenous, South Central American, indigenous Caribbean myths, legends, novels, stories coming to light, instead of always just adapting some European shit. Well, changing some things. No, yeah. That's great. That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping that finally, maybe now, we can start getting more, because people are like, oh, okay. People aren't. The U.S. is not as racist as Twitter might have you believing one way or another. And that people will watch Latino lead stuff, and maybe Hollywood doesn't have to just take the cheap, easy, weirdly anti-redheaded way of race changing everything, and instead actually start telling some, like I said, original stories now. Because let's face it, man, I'm getting really tired of the same old Hans Christian Andersen and Mother Goose crap. Yeah, so. Because what I was saying about Transformers is that it makes it with Inca mythology, and some of the movie, a good chunk of the movie takes place in Peru, and you see some of their celebrations, and the Maximals are actually have been living with the tribe and everything. So that made me really happy, just because you never see Peru anywhere, and the Incas were such a civilization. I mean, it's funny because my daughter, it was Monday night, we were having dinner, Tuesday night, and she asked me, what's one thing in history that you wish that everybody would know? And I told her, honestly, how important and how relevant Mesoamerican civilizations from Mexico down, how incredibly important and just as smart, if not smarter, than your traditional Greeks, Egyptians, whatever you want to call, whatever other, ancient Chinese, how incredibly relevant they are, and because there's just, like you said, there's not enough of that storytelling. All we really know about Aztecs most of the time is that they sacrifice people. That's what.
To be fair, the Spanish did come in
and wipe a lot, yeah,
burn and destroy
but,
a lot of what was there.
Oh my God, Spain, you assholes!
Yeah, but still, like there's enough there, that we can talk about it, and that you can appreciate it, because or else how would I know about it?
Exactly.
But because I told her, I was like, I was like, the largest pyramid in the world. But this is, and this is to your point. I was like, the largest pyramid in the world is in Mexico, but you'll never know it because the Spaniards built a church on top of it. And so there is no way
looks like a hill.
Yeah, it just looks like a hill because the Spaniards, and there's no way to research it further because that church is a historical site. And I'm like, so she's like, oh, all right. I was like, yeah, the Spaniards kind of screwed everything up. But to the point of that, like, I hope to see more of that in films because it's so rich.
What's more of the Spanish screwing things up?
Well,
I'm sorry. That was just such a great lineup for that.
I don't mind. We can, as long as we can see the Spaniards in the same light that we see the white people from the early American
days. The Spanish are technically white.
Yeah, but they speak Spanish. Yeah, they speak Spanish. That's why I'm like, my heritage, you track all the way back because my last name's Gomez, is Spanish to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
But so that was my little soapbox thing is we're in theaters. We're no longer just the narco or the drug dealer or Jennifer Lopez as Made in Manhattan,
Yeah, no, you got it. I made a passing comment joke about erasing redheads, and I think you and I have talked about it before, but
yeah,
when it comes to that race switching thing, man, I cannot help but go to where there's all these jokes about redheads. Redheads are soulless, redheads are unwanted, redheads are ugly. There's this whole thing, and some of it comes from maliciousness. Most people just use it as a joke. I don't know either, but most people just, it's a joke, right? But it exists, right? Those thoughts, those I don't want to call them stereotypes because they're not, those jokes, for better terms, even prejudiceness, because there are people that find redheads to be weird. Regardless, it exists, right? Okay, so I can't help but wonder, is Hollywood's kind of a obsession with race changing redheads, is it an anti-redhead thing, or is it some sort of weird dog whistle where they're like, yeah, hi, black people, we're helping you guys out, but we're making you all of the quote unquote soulless, unwanted, and ugly characters. Like, it is so common to see it happen that there has to be something about it, right? It's either anti-redheadedness because they're just like, we want to erase redheaded people from natural air quotes redhead people from the screen, or they're making a statement about, I don't know, man. What you got to tell me that I'm not insane for thinking there's got to be something. It happens so much.
Here's the deal. If they make a live action version of Brave and she's not a redhead, then I'll be like, okay, Kyle, we need to sit down, have a very serious conversation about what is going on here. But it's, oh my God. I mean, it's, you're not wrong. Like it happens a lot. I don't know why. And I don't know if it's just a weird coincidence where if you ask filmmakers, especially like ask the latest one, they go, Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sharing
Or
an image on screen right now. If you are if you've watched if you're watching us on YouTube, and this isn't all of them, and it's not just redhead to black. There's redhead to Asian on here with like Lana Lang and the kid that played the chubby mutant in Deadpool 2. But if you look at, there is a lot of them that are from white redhead to black male or female. This isn't all of them, and I have most of these. I don't care. Mary Jane and MJ is not really a race swap though. But anyways, I'm just curious as to why the redheads. That's my only curiosity.
I don't.
And I'm kind of partial to redheads. You know, I don't want them erased.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand where it comes from.
I don't know.
Like, why what does Hollywood have against them? It's a really weird thing, because it's like I can't even comment on as far as like, because number one, is it actually happening on purpose, or is it just a strange coincidence? And then number two,
that
like, where does that
is
even
one
come
hell
from?
of a coincidence.
DC alone. And then on a podcast,
people.
on a Batman podcast that I watched, listen to, sorry, not watch, for the animated series, they always point that out too, that in their animated series, the bad guy is usually a redhead.
Now that's one I haven't really thought about. I can think of a few redheaded characters that were seen as kind of like,
they're like not
you
main
think movies
characters,
like
but
Problem
goons.
Child
Yeah.
and stuff like that. You know, the redheaded stepchild bit exists, and that's one of those tropes. You know, like, so like you said, is it Hollywood? Did Hollywood start the
And they may
redhead hate?
They may have, man. You know.
Which again, then, if they hate the redheads, like, anyways, I'm not going to go down the conspiracy theory anymore. You guys let us know what you think might be going on with Hollywood and their
I wonder
apparent usage of redheads and race switching with redheads.
I wonder if now that we're more aware of it and we're talking about it, I know that several other podcasters that are talking about it, and it's becoming more of a noticeable thing, it will stop. like it's like the filmmakers will have more of it'll be a little bit more in the front of their mind when they're looking at the characters and thinking of how to take them and put them in a film or a TV show, and they go, wait, hold on, we can't do that.
I will say this, you know, there's times where, and you and I have had this conversation, there's times where you'll see a race switch and you'll be like, whatever, it seems fine. It doesn't even seem like there's any agenda, carry on. And every now and then there's casting where you start thinking, is it stunt casting? Is that like armor casting? Are they creating a scapegoat, a sacrificial lamb of sorts? And then there's times where you're like, you guys are just really trying to like jab at people. And there was always this thing, you know, well, it's an imaginary character, so the race generally doesn't matter, which is not an untrue statement. But the ones that really shocked me was the very real casting of a black woman as Anne Boleyn, one of Henry's wives, the eighth. Remember, the dude's like going through all the wives and stuff like that. They cast a black woman to play her, a historical woman, very, very white, and then Snow White.
Yeah, that one was
and I'm just like, guys, like you said you would only do it if the race doesn't matter, and unfortunately with one character it's a real person, and with the other, I mean, the literature literally says skin as white as snow. Like, you said you wouldn't do that part, so you can't be angry when people start becoming suspect of all of them at that point. I'm not suspect of all of them, but we have crossed a line.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. That so, the one that kind of it never really bothers me because Hollywood's gonna do whatever they want, and
Right.
like a lot of times by doing things like that, whether it's casting a certain race to a role that would be controversial, or telling an audience that they don't need male people to go to theater, they fall on their own sword, and it'll fail because there is such a thing, I think, of trying to be too I guess I'll say it this way, too woke, I guess, or too is that the term for it, like to try to be too politically correct, or
it used to be the proper term for it. It was, you have awoken from your sleep of, the past. Now, of course, it has a lot more connotations, and it's more right-wing people using it.
Yeah, it's more
but it's more, replaced political correctness. You had it right,
okay.
basically.
So what, and they'll fall on their own sword, but there's some times where it's just like you almost screwed the character. Period. I feel this way about characters like what's her name in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh yeah, the one that played Reva,
because it's a great character. I think the writing was just off, but
there was potential.
The potential was there, and I was fine with it, but it almost felt like they use it as a shield.
Yeah, armor casting, potentially,
like you were talking about, and that bothers me. The casting of Tinkerbell bothered me because
armor.
Well, no, like the movie was fine, really, but
no, notice it couldn't just be Peter Pan; it had to be Peter Pan and Wendy.
Like that too, but there's room for everyone, and I think that, like, for example, Transformers their stars are, there's a Latino and there's an African American woman, Dominic Fishback, and Rom, I forget his name. He's from Hamilton. Nobody bats an eye because they do great. There's nothing that feels like they forced them in there. They're just great characters. Miles Morales is another one. That's just the character it is. All of his culture is already infused into his relationship with his parents, and then you see the scene at the party on the top, his relationship with his uncle, how important he is despite the fact that he was the Prowler.
Yep. What's funny though about Miles? So you have two Marvel characters, right? That come out, and one of them's Miles and one of them's America Chavez. Do you know what they had in common? At one point, pretty much almost everything America is, Miles was gonna be but a dude version. And they were like, oh wait, that's too many boxes to check at once. And then they created America, and we're like, nah, check all the boxes.
I think that's what bothered me about America.
Great movie character, though. I like the movie character. Version was cool.
The movie version was great. That was the problem I had with it in comics. It was like, all right, we need to make sure that she's this. All right, great, and then we'll figure out plot, story wise later.
Oh man,
and it's weird because it's just so lazy. I have heard people of other cultures say that sometimes when you do that kind of casting, it's almost offensive because it makes you feel like they can't create characters for you. Like
they won't. Because
they
costs
won't.
Money. Especially if you're going to use anything modern, so anything that's not already in the public domain, right? You're gonna have to pay for licensing, you're gonna have to pay for royalties, this, that and the other. If you just recast something that you've already got access to, it's a lot cheaper. And I keep telling people this. It was just like that whole hoopla over the Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering cards and the Black Aragorn. By people buying that, by going out and saying, yep, I'll take that, and that is my representation. And let's face it, it's usually a lot of white people screaming at other white people about how a black Aragorn is representation for people who some do feel represented, but a lot of others are going, well, where is the where's the African mythological hero or a major African literature adaptation for Magic the Gathering, instead of riding the coattails of some European once again. Where is that? And anytime and not anytime, but oftentimes when you bring that up, you'll get some white person that'll go, well, Hollywood just won't give them a real chance, so we gotta accept this. Well, that's the thing. If you keep accepting it, they're never ever going to really change. My whole point at the beginning with what Manny was saying earlier, I was like, maybe now we'll actually get some more Latino and indigenous South Central American mythologies, stories, literature adaptations in the mainstream. I don't know. I think it's got a better chance than some other races, but we'll see. But honestly, if you let it be enough, then that's all it'll ever be, is just enough for them. So I highly suggest that people keep pushing Hollywood, comics, video games, even, to do better. Not just take the easy way out.
Yeah. Why aren't there no Mexicans in Magic? You know what? I should boycott Magic because there's no Mexicans in there. Like, you think about it.
I don't know. I don't follow enough. I played Magic before. I still do like to buy cards every now and then. I think it's a fun game. I'm not invested in the lore. I know that there have been lots and lots, of course, of heroes that have been of all Asian, Black, Hispanic looking. They've had sets that are inspired by almost every culture you can think of here on Earth. High fantasy, cyberpunk stuff. Like, they've covered the gamut. But the idea was, there are some existing African legends, myths, African literary heroes that do exist. And if you really want to get representation, wouldn't you want to not just represent the skin tone, but actually represent the fracking history and culture by adapting that history and culture? Maybe. I don't know. You guys let us know. Are you satisfied with the easy route, or would you like to see Hollywood do Hollywood and other entertainment? I keep saying Hollywood, but all entertainment. Would you like to see them do better? I would really like to see them do better. Not to mention, I'm just getting tired of the same fracking stories being retold again and again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we complained enough, man.
This is true. And somehow there will be some people that listen to this who, thanks for listening anyway, will say that we're racist.
Probably.
One
racist
way or the other.
And sexist. I'll say this on the women thing. We kept being told, well, women have a hard time, or X group has a hard time seeing themselves in Y group. Well, Y group still exists, and if all you do now is show X and Z group, then Y group can't relate to anything, right? Like, do you see the hypocrisy? That's my whole thing, guys. I am anti-hypocrisy. I hate that shit with a passion. Anyways, you guys can hear Manny and I talk more about things that we love and hate on the Genreverse Podcast Network, available on all your favorite podcast apps. Other shows on there like Breaking Geek Radio and the Cantina. We're actually doing a Cantina today. All of the podcasts can be found on the Genreverse YouTube channel, as well as all of our anime reactions from AVR Squared. So please do get subscribed. And of course, lrmonline.com every day for all entertainment news, needs, and opinions. Manny, what else do you got to say?
Yeah, up on our YouTube, also LRM Online, my interviews with the crew The blackening are up. My interviews with Elemental are now up as well. I'll be talking with some of the cast of Mayans. Frankie Loyal's already on there. As the weeks go by, as the final season's wrapping up, Gig and Nancy have a whole lot of really cool stuff. Gig just posted a couple of days ago an interview with Tom Holland, for example. You need to check that out. And it's all right there. It's all for free. Not for long. But yeah, it's all for free.
Cool. Yep. Indeed, guys. All right. That's it. We're not going to be here tomorrow, but hopefully we'll see you guys on Monday. Bye.